All right, we are back with part two. So you have had an introduction, you know exactly what this course is about. You've now completed part one, which is all about your mindset. If you haven't completed that, stop here, go back, do this course in order. It's going to serve you the best. Make sure that you've done all of the assignments. That was the commitment you made on the first, in the first module. Now, part two is your map, right? This is the step-by-step things that you have that help you get to your desired goal, right? That's what a map is. These are the steps that you take on a plant-based diet. And so when we were creating this course, we're like, you know what? We got to do this just like we would do when we work with our one-on-one clients. We want to make sure that they have the right mindset. But we also want to make sure that they have the tools necessary to actually transform their health. And how do you do that? Like, that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so let's get into it. I love this part.
I think it's very excited about the map.
And so the first part is recreate the foods you love. Don't feel everybody always asks, oh, if I go plant-based, can I only eat salad? And I'm like, do you only eat salads now? And they're like, no, I eat meat. I'm like, no, you eat food. You just cook it with meat. So here's some examples of some of our staples that we love to make. So as you can see, lentil loaf with fries. Yes, we still buy some frozen ingredients. It's okay. It's not going to kill you. Remember, this is about your food home. Everybody's food home is going to look different. Are you more of a pasta based type of person? Or you're a curry type person? Or you're a rice and beans type person? Whatever your food home is where you normally go. Because there's a big misconception, especially from Americans, that we eat a lot of different foods. No, we don't.
Yeah.
I'm a Tex-Mex guy. You put a quesadilla, some enchiladas, or a tamale in front of me, I will eat that all day, every day.
Mexican smiley. That's very good. He doesn't like a lot of
Not black Americans. But also you see like teriyaki tofu with chips, quesadillas with Spanish rice and pico. Now the quesadilla is actually with chickpeas in it. But these are some of our food homes that we love to go to. This is one of the things that we love to order in, especially just to celebrate sometimes. Vegan sushi and stuffed tofu. Yum. One of Cece's favorite, ramen. Sometimes we have ramen weekend. We just make ramen all weekend. And here's the other beauty about it. You can eat all the fruits and vegetables you can imagine. So as you see, we're in a tropical area, so we have plantains, we have mangoes, we have bananas, pineapples, everything fresh. The chuba is next to the strawberry, Peruvian fruit. All these things you can eat, so don't limit yourself to I can only eat salad.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And so this is the first step of your map for a very important reason. Like Jason has described, that there's this thing that we like to call your food home. Right? And this might be your first time understanding or hearing this concept ever. You know, we talked to our one-on-one clients about. We wanted to make sure that you understood this because we get asked, I mean, we get messages all the time about transitioning to plant-based diet, which is why we decided to create this course for you. And one of the things we get asked is, what do you eat? What do vegans eat? What do people on plant-based diets even eat? And people have this weird misconception that the only thing that's available is like lettuce, iceberg, right, and apples. And they can have this really weird idea that there's like no food. And I always say, well, what do you eat now? And if somebody says, well, you know, I like pasta, I like spaghetti, and I like penne, and I love, you know, Alfredo. And I say, okay, well, you can eat that. Or somebody will say, I'll say, well, what do you eat now? And I'll say, I love Mexican food. I love Tex-Mex. You know, I want the tacos and the quesadillas and whatever. You know, what do you eat now? Oh, well, you know, I like to start my day with pancakes, you know. And I say, well, if that's what you're getting when you transition to a plant-based diet, all you're going to do is you're going to find recipes that allow you to recreate those foods, because your food home is where you go, right, on a daily basis. We all have sort of a set amount of things that we eat on a regular basis, despite the fact that you think that you have a lot of variety. If you actually go to track on a regular basis, you would see, you know what, I eat pasta 3 times a week, I eat tacos on Tuesday, I go out to eat, you know, 3 times a week. Most of us have it. Like we said in the mindset section, we have patterns. And you're already on a journey that's going to take you to new heights in your health. And you don't have to make it harder on yourself. So, right, when Jason and I first got started, we were making it really hard, right?
It was difficult for a while. It was like, I don't know if we made the right choice.
Yeah, and the reason was because no one told us about this step. They never told us that, you have a food home, and if you're just getting started, you want to stay as close to that food home as you can at first, right? We didn't understand that. So here we were like, the amazing world of veggies. There were all these grains we've never heard of, and all of a sudden I'm buying canola, which is quinoa. I didn't know for like the first year and a half of my journey. There were all these weird things that we thought that we had to eat, right? Because we're trying to get healthy, and we didn't know that we could get healthy eating foods that were similar to what we were eating before. And so we would have these complicated recipes with 20 steps and 30 ingredients with, I'd have to buy a spice or a seasoning or an ingredient for this one dish, and I would never have anything else to use it in. And it made our process stressful.
Yeah. I remember like when we were the amaranth. If you're not familiar with amaranth, it's a grain, it's an ancient grain. I still don't know how to cook it.
Still have no idea.
And I'm like, oh, you can just fry it in a little sesame oil. It tastes like popcorn. It's a great snack. All I had was just little soggy, oily grains. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And then those days, like, I love pizza. And it was like, oh, I want pizza, but all I have in front of me is this little bitty salad because no one also told us, eat as much as you want.
Right. Like, you're already eating healthy by eating plants, so it's okay, right? We talked earlier in the mindset portion about your diet versus lifestyle mentality. Well, this is your lifestyle. This is literally what you consume. And we eat all day long, right? Like you don't go days without food. We eat every single day. And so if you're going to have a lifestyle, you want to make it as least restrictive as possible. Right? You don't want to put so many parameters around yourself. You feel like this is too hard. And so this is why we have you really focused in on what is my food home. So in the workbook, we want you to do just that. We want you to identify what's your food home and be thinking about how do you eat now, right? Like, are you a 15-minute meal person? Like, are you somebody who just likes to throw some things together really quickly because you want to figure out how you can recreate that now, right? What are the foods that you go to for breakfast? One of the very first things I learned how to make was vegan pancakes because I love pancakes. And if I don't feel like cooking, like I can make batch pancakes very quickly, and that's breakfast for dinner. Like I'm literally not. That's my food home. I'm gonna go there when I want comfort, when I want something fast, and I don't feel like cooking. And you're gonna make a list in the workbook. It has it broken down into sections. You're gonna make a list of the things that you go to. Right? What do I typically eat for breakfast? What do I typically eat for lunch and dinner? What do I typically eat for snacks? And then you're going to go online, right? We didn't give you a bunch of recipes and a bunch of those kinds of things because we want you to eat things that you like.
Yeah.
We want you to enjoy it. We want this to be a lifestyle for you. So you're going to take your food home and then you're going to do some research. You're going to find yourself some recipes. You're going to find, how do I make this, this plant-based? So you might search vegan ramen recipe. You might search how to make a plant-based pizza. You might search how to make lasagna plant-based, right? So you'll go through this exercise and you'll find out what's my food home, and then you'll print out some recipes so that you have a game plan on the foods that you can eat. And when you're first getting started, you start here, right? Now, people might be asking, well, what if I want a little bit of variety, right? Cool, right? But
do it.
Do it. Jason and I, we still have a food home, right? We have foods that we kind of go to quite often, and we kind of go in phases. Like right now, we're in a very Asian phase, so we're doing a lot of noodles and soups and curries and all this. That's kind of where we are right now. So know that these things can evolve, but if you're feeling creative, if you've got lots of extra time, you go to the store, you see something that you really want to try, this is one of the things that we did to make our life easier is we would say, you know what, let's try a new recipe. And we would do that, right? So we would have that plan that, hey, on this weekend, we're going to go and we're going to cook, right? Or I'm going to bake something new. I'm going to try some new recipe. And that's how you start to create variety. And then you'll find the things that you like. You'll test out new vegetables. But that's another thing, like, What are the vegetables that I like now?
And what don't you like?
Yeah,
Also know your food home, what you don't like. Because you don't want, like, I don't like egg. I do not like eggplant.
it does.
Every time I see it, I taste it, I smell it, it takes me back where my grandmother used to make me eat it. I'm like, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
But that is part of my food home. I do not like eggplant. So I stay away from it.
yeah. There are tons of vegetables. There are tons of fruits. And so you can choose to eat the things that you actually enjoy. And so what we did was we're both very much lovers of broccoli and spinach and bok choy. There are certain vegetables that we really love. And so as we were transitioning, we were really focusing in on that. I tried to make myself love kale because everybody said like, kale was the vegan superfood, blah, blah, blah. I don't love kale. I will eat kale chips, when they dehydrate the kale with a little bit of seasonings on top. But just eating raw kale, like I typically only eat that if I go to a restaurant because they'll prepare it, it'll taste different. So if there's a vegetable you don't like, you don't have to eat it. But if you start to see vegetables or fruits that you've never tried before, you might say, I'm gonna have a little bit of variety, I'm gonna try this thing. And then you buy that one thing and you find a recipe for it and you taste it and you see if you like it. And maybe you try it a couple of different ways and you decide if it's something that you want to add into your food home. So your food home can evolve.
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go.